Hey peeps, are you ready to thrive through this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius? This retrograde isn't here to mess with you, okay? I want to be really clear. Please, please, please do not buy into the go hide your kids, hide your wife mentality of Mercury retrograde. It's actually here to show us where we need more clarity, transformation, and truth. Today, we're diving into a collective reading to help you navigate this powerful energy and uncover the hidden gems it holds for your journey. Before we dive into the reading, let me set the stage for you. This retrograde runs from November 25th to December 15th. So don't worry, even though, yeah, it will kind of happen over Thanksgiving, you won't this year have to navigate retrograde. Well, at least not a full on retrograde for both big holidays at the end of the year that kind of can cause us some stress, especially in communication, which is what Mercury governs during our family gatherings over the holidays. Whatever you celebrate, usually November and December can sometimes, especially in the US, bring together the family. And in some ways, that's beautiful. And in some ways, we have arguments, and Mercury retrograde never really helps. So don't worry. You only have to worry about the Mercury retrograde for Thanksgiving versus also the December holidays. So the cosmic spotlight here is going to be on your beliefs, your truths, and the stories we are telling ourselves. It's squaring Saturn in Pisces, which means some grounding and reality checks might be in order, and it's opposing Jupiter in Gemini. So expect big revelations and maybe even a little information overload. So if you're one of those people likes to go down the rabbit hole on, say, YouTube or Google looking for stuff, this might be where you need to really be mindful and take a break. This spread that I've created for this Mercury retrograde, and actually it's a spread that you can use for most Mercury retrogrades, but this particular one I've done for the one in Sagittarius we are experiencing now. This spread will help us uncover how we can work with those energies that I just shared and not fight against them. Because remember, what we resist persists. So let me show you the spread we're going to be using today. It's called The Path to Truth, and it's designed to help us explore what's being challenged, what's hidden, and how can we find clarity and renewal. I'll be pulling cards from the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. I'm going to give you a link in the description if you love these cards and have not gotten them yet, because I love them. A lot of people that follow me have gotten them. They are so gentle and so soft. If you want them, I'm going to put a link in the description so that you can check them out if you want to grab them for yourself. Before I start pulling cards, I'd love to hear from you. What's one belief or story that you feel ready to reevaluate during this retrograde? Drop it in the comments, because sharing can be really powerful. And who knows, you might inspire somebody else on their journey. Let me run through this card spread called The Path to Truth. So our first card is belief being challenged. So what belief needs re-examining during this retrograde that you need to work with? Card number 2 is Saturn's influence and its hidden limitations. So what hidden fear or limitation is asking for recognition and release? And that's a big one, because a lot of times we don't want to acknowledge the fear. So pulling a card on that really helps us get out of our own way, both conscious, subconscious, unconscious, to work with whatever fear is blocking us, or we're just getting in our own way from releasing and letting go of stuff so that we can move forward. And the mirror, I love this. Jupiter's opposition. What truth do I need to see from this different perspective? And then number 4 is your inner compass. And where can I find guidance or wisdom during this introspective time? And then the last card is renewed vision. Like, what do I want to come out of this Mercury retrograde with? So what is my renewed vision? What truth or realization will help me align more closely with my soul's purpose? Because isn't that the goal? Isn't that the goal? We want to align with our soul purpose. If you've not checked out my video on the difference between soul purpose and life purpose, I highly encourage you to do so, because it really will give you that understanding of what alignment means when you're trying to manifest stuff. If your soul purpose is the same as everybody else's, because if we are all extensions of source energy, then our soul purpose is all the same, because it's all the same soul, and our soul purpose is always going to be love, joy, and abundance. Your life purpose, however, is different. It is different from everyone else's, because your life purpose is how you as an individual manifest the love, joy, and abundance that is your soul purpose into your 3D experience. So really quick, if you want an expanded version of that, you can go check out that video and I'll link it below. But anyway, let's get started because it is time to shuffle up these cards and ask Spirit to guide us through this Mercury retrograde. So let's start. And I'm just going to do a quick shuffle. And then we will pull our cards. Okay. And I am not a from the top kind of gal. So, ooh, and I do an upside down card. So, and that's funny. That card, and I'm going to move you back just a smidge because no matter how much room I have, I never have enough. Okay. So let's see. So card number 1, belief being challenged. And then we have this one, hidden limitations. Ooh. And the mirror. I love how like the cards that are like all the things we need to let go of are upside down. And then we have our cards that are where we're going and they are right side up. Yes. Renewed vision. Yep. My intention for the video is if you are seeing this, this is for you. So what belief do you have that needs re-examining during this retrograde? And what came up was whale spirit, trust in the great mystery. But whale spirit came in upside down. What does that mean? That means when whale spirit is upside down, I always say an upside down card is I forgot that I knew that, or I'm being a whiny baby and I don't wanna. I feel like this is something that for everybody watching is more, I forgot that I knew that, because trusting in the great mystery, the belief that needs to be changed here because it's upside down is that we are all in this alone. Like, I feel like as we move through this really humongous shifting of energies, I mean, Pluto into Aquarius, like literally is today. Today, the day that I'm shooting this video is the 19th of November, and I'll probably be releasing the video on Friday, which I don't know what day that is, whatever Friday is from today. So today, on the day that I'm shooting this, I am feeling the energies a lot, the shifting of this energy from Pluto in Capricorn into Pluto in Aquarius. So as we move through that space and that kind of wormhole, that shift in energy that's going to be around with us for the next 20 some odd years, we have to remember that we are not in this alone. We are not in the spiritual journey alone, that there is a great mystery. We need to have faith, and whatever it is that is keeping us from remembering that the trusting in the great mystery being upside down means what needs to be released is this idea that we have to do everything ourselves. It's not called co-creation for nothing, okay? You're co-creating with spirit. Your job is the what and the why. Spirit's job is the where, when, and how. And we have a tendency as human beings to have the what and the why, and then immediately try to figure out the where, when, and how. And that how usually derails us every single time. So going through this Mercury retrograde and shifting our belief system into, I am only in charge of the what and the why, and I have to surrender the how to spirit, is what I think needs to be focused on. And the idea that we don't do that needs to be released. Now, the hidden limitation, this is our Saturn influence. And it's what hidden fear or limitation is asking for recognition during this release. And I feel like we have stag spirit coming in upside down, and stag is take the lead. So having it upside down means that you are not standing in leadership of your life. It's almost like we're abdicating our own agency. And I see this a lot where, think of it this way. When we blame, when we shame, or when we feel shame or blame, that's allowing external forces, or we are putting external forces on things that don't require it. Okay. When we are looking for approval and a validation from external sources, again, that's not where it's at. And when we are not being a leader in our own life, that's what's going on. When you're abdicating your agency, you're saying, like, oh, well, I will base everything that I'm doing on what everyone else thinks. I'm worried about what my family will think. I'm worried about what my partner might think. I'm worried about my friends, my tribe, what have you. This idea of being ostracized from your tribe. When in actuality, part of the spiritual journey is really interesting. It's like you go through this moment in the journey where it's like, where'd all my friends go? Or where did my peeps go? And then all of a sudden you end up with a group of people that are much more your people. So I feel like part of this take the lead is we forget that we are in total control. We are manifesting everything by our thoughts, our words, speaking it into existence, our thoughts, our vibration, what are we attracting? And then blame when things don't work out, instead of doing that spiritual journey, which isn't blame, shame, or guilt. It's, because a lot of people say, well, oh, well, if I don't get what I want, and then I have to blame myself, and then I made a mistake, and oh my God, and then they go down the shit spiral. But the fact is that instead of beating yourself up when stuff is not going the way you want, utilize what you're observing in your life that's not feeling good as an observation and information and data collection for you to say, oh, I need to do a gut check, a mind check, a vibe check. And when you do that and then choose a different vibration to be in, I know there's times when life's hard and you're like, but how do I step aside from grief? How do I step aside from everything's hitting the fan and I need to deal with that? Focus on gratitude. Focus on what the blessing is. Trust me, I know people are like, oh, well, look, my house flooded. I was homeless, jobless, carless. I mean, like, and I still was like, what's my blessing here? My blessing here is I have my beloveds with me. I am able to navigate the situation, regardless of what it is. Really finding the blessing in it will shift that power center from an external power center to an internal power center. So when we're talking about what belief needs changing, it's trusting in the universe. And then when we're talking about what is the hidden limitation, your hidden limitation is the fact that we're not taking responsibility and accountability without any punishment or judgment or anything around that in how we are choosing to manifest and move through our life. The foci, I don't remember how you say it, but the center of focus for you is not external, it's internal, and not from a perspective of judgment or punishment. It has to be from a perspective of observation and empowerment. So those two things, those are really huge. Okay. They are kind of like the crux of this spiritual journey. And Sagittarius is about travel. And so to me, this is all about traveling that spiritual journey and communicating with yourself. Where can I create balance within myself in the communication with myself? Okay, so the next one, what is the mirror? What truth do I need to see from a different perspective? Turning knowledge into wisdom. Now, it's really interesting because Wolf Spirit talks about wisdom, and I think there's a huge difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is just knowing something. Knowledge is I watched a YouTube video on how to change a flat tire. Wisdom is actually being able to change the flat tire without freaking out on the highway. So wisdom to me is where you learn something and then you take the emotion out of it. There's no pride in wisdom. There's no emotional pain or trauma in wisdom. Wisdom is I know what I know and I'm certain in it in a way that is peaceful. So the mirror here is what truth do I need to see from a different perspective is I personally feel when it says turn knowledge into wisdom, that means we have to start really getting away from that external foci of validation, of knowledge, I feel like knowledge is masculine, wisdom is feminine. Knowledge is, what do I got to do? The strategy, all this. The wisdom is, I already know I'm there. So the mirror for this is, what is the different perspective? The different perspective here is not so much I know all the things. It's more I'm going to apply the things because I'm certain they work and I know that they work. And if I center myself and I do my spiritual journey, then I will be able to embrace the wisdom and move forward in a way that when I come out of the cave, I always see retrogrades as like being in the cave, like Joseph Campbell talks about in The Hero's Journey, that you're in the cave and then you come out at the end of Mercury retrograde because you've reviewed, you've had revelations, you've rested, renewed, and all that kind of stuff. And you come out and you're like, oh, okay, cool. I've learned something about myself. I've done my shadow work. And that's really what this is shadow work. So the next card is your inner compass. Where can I find guidance or wisdom during this introspective time? So not only are we retrograding, that's this just popped into my head. We are going from fall into winter. It is a time of going inward. Okay. The human condition is usually like, go, 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 go. We don't care if it's winter or not, even though we are inherently creatures of the earth, just like every other creature. And we are the only creature that doesn't slow down during winter and fall when it's natural for us to do so. So I'm going to encourage you to embrace that slowdown and do more introspection. And I love that this Mercury retrograde is happening right now because it is encouraging that introspection. So where can I find guidance? And I'm just looking over here to my notes. Where can I find guidance or wisdom during this introspective time? And we have electric eel. Bring your ideas to life. And I always think of, like, if you're of a certain age, you remember the GE commercial, that GE brings good things to life. And to me, the inner compass is, what do I know? Like, I think if you're watching this, if you're like me, you have like 4 bazillion journals that you have kept over the years. And they may not be the, are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. And by the by, I'm so happy that movie came out because now people that are not Gen Xers get the reference when I say that, when I talk about journaling. But we all have journals. They might be bullet journals. They might be vision board journals, whatever. Pull those out. It's really interesting. I was on a podcast this morning, and the podcast was a revisit. So it was from somebody who I did a podcast with about 8 years ago, and I'll share it on my website. But the guy's name is Angel Jones, and he is so amazing. I just love him. He is so pleasant. So Angel, if you're watching, hey, and thanks for letting me be on your podcast. I loved it. But it was so interesting. So before the podcast happened, he sent me the previous podcast that was done 8 years ago. Y'all, that's right when I was starting. I don't even know if I had quit my full-time job yet or what. Maybe it was like right after that or during that. I'm not really sure. But it was 8 years ago, so it's right in that time frame. And the email basically said, hey, Michelle, before we meet, maybe you want to re-listen to the podcast from before to check in and see what has changed. Like, has your energy changed? What's going on? It was so amazing to listen to that podcast, and like that, I could tell my energy was different, and it was so great to have that version of me telling me, reminding me of things that I know to be true, and reminding me, oh, yes, I have to step back into that. So when I see this, bring your ideas to life in that inner compass position, in that, where can I find guidance or wisdom during this introspective time? I feel like this is not so much, let's go back to the drawing board. It's pull out those old journals. If you've done podcasts and you're watching this, pull out those old podcasts and listen to yourself. Go through your posts, like, on Facebook from like memories from years past. Like, what were you thinking? Is there any advice that younger you need to hear now? So going into your shadow work from the past, if you have a book of shadows or journals, whatever you call them, pull them out and go through them. Take some time with them over the weekends or at night and, make you a cup of tea and go through them and look for what ideas you had. Go into those places that you have written down your ideas and just review them, because those might be the ideas you need to bring to life. So when we're talking about that inner compass, go to those ideas and bring them to life. And then our last one, our renewed vision, what truth or realization will help me align more closely with my soul's purpose? And the upside down card, and it's really interesting. This is an upside down card, but I know why. In that final position of renewed vision. And the upside down card is wasp spirit, with sometimes life stings. And it's upside down, which to me says this: when you follow this path, life will not sting as badly. This is not one of those times that life will sting. So this Mercury retrograde, if you follow this, if you work from a place of, I want to stay in the place of wisdom, I want my focus of validation to be my inner world, my heart. That itty bitty shitty committee is not your inner world. The inner truth is, who are you? Are you listening to those IBSC, those itty bitty shitty committee voices that are really someone else's sphere being spoken over you? Is that when you want to claim going forward? No. You want to claim who you are. What is your truth? Who are you? Without all the labels of other people, without the label of daughter, son, niece, nephew, wife, husband, partner, sibling, without those, even like we always think of labels that are negative when we think about getting rid of our labels. But what if we got rid of all the labels? If you had no labels, what wisdom would you find there? I know it's kind of scary to think about because you feel simultaneously empty and full of potential. And that's what this is going to bring to light for you. The challenge that's going to come here is your faith in the universe. When you say the universe has my back, are you giving it lip service or not? Because when you're giving it lip service, which I think a lot of us have been doing lately, because we forget to be tapped in, tuned in, and turned on, as Abraham says. So the challenge, the belief is that I got to do everything myself, when that's not the case. The real truth is that you have a co-pilot. You are co-creating the spirit, and that's the truth. And the hidden limitation for all of this is giving up the agency. When you say stuff like, he drives me up the wall. Whenever you do that, it makes me just irritated. Oh, he's making me crazy. My boss is pissing me off. No, your boss is doing something that doesn't align with what you want. It's not the outcome you want. And thusly, you're upset about that. You're upset about not getting what you want. They're just doing their thing. So if you can get control over not getting what you want and being like, okay, I'm in acceptance that I'm not getting what I want. What am I going to do about it? Where am I going to go from here? What within my control can I do to move closer to what I do want? Do you see the power flip there from my boss is a jerk and he's making me crazy to, okay, I see what's going on here. This is their sandbox. So I got to either play by their rules or make a different choice, or choose how I'm going to navigate being in their sandbox so that I feel good. So when you take back your power, you get to make choices. But this whole retrograde is all about you realizing you have a choice. Realizing that the limiting belief is that you don't have a choice. The limiting belief is that you're giving away your agency, which gives away your choice. So that said, if you don't like the outcome of certain things, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, of what's going on around you, once you decide, okay, this is what's going on, I can either blame everybody else for me feeling pissed off, or I can stand in observation and go, okay, here's the data collection. The data collection is this didn't go the way I would like. So what am I going to do about that? And there are infinite numbers of choices when you ask that question. What within my control can I do to feel better? I can leave the situation. I can change how I view the situation. I can lobby for what I want in the situation. Those are a lot more choices than he pisses me off, and thusly I'm just going to sit in irritation. So that's the thing. So then we're moving through the mirror. What truth do I need to see from a different perspective? And that is, that I have a choice here. Turn knowledge into wisdom. I know what's going on, knowledge. What am I going to do about it within my control? Wisdom. Okay. And then our inner compass. Where can I find guidance or wisdom during this introspective time? It's bring your ideas to life. Go back to something that sparks interest. Allow maybe your inner guidance to guide you to the journal that has the thing, or maybe your vision board that you haven't pulled out in a while. Maybe your list of intentions you haven't looked at in a while. Everything is within you. I think it's Rumi that said, everything's within you. It's already there. Just bring that stuff to light. All those dreams you had, that is the new choice. Keep going with what it is you're dreaming about. And then lastly, your renewed vision. So what truth and realization will help you align with your soul's perspective is to realize life is, it may look like it's stinging. It really may look like it's stinging, but it's not. Okay. It doesn't mean that what you are witnessing isn't icky. It just means that the sting will not be what you think it is. And we have to remember, it's a thought that whenever we witness something, our response and reaction are how we view it. If we can change our perspective on it, that's when it won't sting as much. That's what our Mercury retrograde is going to tell us. So I think that was super powerful. This retrograde is clearly calling us to slow down, reflect, and get really honest with ourselves. Shadow work isn't always easy, but it's where the magic happens. So remember, retrogrades aren't about punishment, they're about progress. And if you're ready to dive deeper into this transformative energy, I'd love for you to check out my Mercury Retrograde Shadow Workbook. It's a guide to thriving through the retrograde with a cosmic breakdown, journal prompts, shadow work reflections, and this very card spread you can use on your own so that you can pull a much more personal spread for yourself. The link is in the description. Grab it now and start your deep dive today. Also, if you're curious about the energy of 2025, don't miss my 2025 New Year's reading for the collective video. It's a powerful look at the overarching themes for next year. And if this reading resonates with you, I still have a few slots open for personal New Year's readings. I think right now, as of the recording of this video, I have 3 slots left for the rest of the year. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm even saying that. Head on over to that video. I will link it here and you can get all the details. The links for all of that are in the description. I'll see you over there. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't ever miss anything. Thanks for joining me today for this Mercury retrograde reading. I love you so much and I can't wait to see you soon. Until then, I'll see you in the vortex. Have a great rest of your week. Love you. Bye.